Hello. I am so happy to be back with the NDPC family. I mean, I've been on the road for the past 2 months, but it is always good to just truly talk about some great strategies, a lot of great work that's going on around the country, and really begin to really truly continue to connect you with members of our family. Today, I really want to talk with you about the value of research. As a matter of fact, at NDPC, a lot of you might not know, but we've got a group of research fellows that really begin to work on the trends around the country that we're seeing as far as educational research and assist districts across the country with research articles, with research trends, and can actually come inside your district to really chronicle a lot of research within your district to really give you a lot of insight on how your students are performing, how those connected to the community, and then some aspects and strategies that can be facilitated in your PLCs going forward. So I have our lead research fellow. Her name is Dr. Shannon Moots. Shannon, won't you introduce yourself to the NDPC family?
Of course. Hey, everybody. I'm Shannon Chappell Moots. I'm Research Associate Professor and Director of Research Analytics in the Center for Educational Partnerships at Old Dominion University. I've been a proud research fellow with the National Dropout Prevention Center for going on 13 years.
Definitely. Shannon's been with us for quite some time. And today we really want to talk with you about really the value of research. You know, a lot of the times we read a lot of blogs and things like that, but it's extremely important that we truly begin to look at patterns across the country, successful practices across the country, and really begin to look at the strategies that truly work, no matter if you're in one side of the country, no matter if you're in another side of the country or internationally. So our first question, Shannon, for you, as you think about, the research fellows, you've been working with NDPC for the last 13 years. Can you please provide a real short, brief overview of the work that we do at NDPC?
Sure. So the Research Fellows are a group of education professionals that are dedicated to conducting research and disseminating findings of evidence-based practices that are designed to support schools and students as they progress toward high school graduation. The fellows support the work of the Successful Practices Network and the National Dropout Prevention Center staff and school personnel relative to improving school climate and culture, preparing educators to serve all learners, and enriching student experiences, academic and otherwise. And so to do this, we engage with schools to apply educational research. Sometimes we collaborate with other fellows or educators, and we find opportunities to publish or present dropout prevention research in ways that are accessible to K-12 practitioners.
Right. Thank you so much. I mean, because one factor, we spend a lot of the time really talking through successful practices, being the SPN, right? Successful Practices Network across the country. But this is grounded in research. The work that we're working through across the country is truly grounded in best practices in trends and research. As you think about that research piece, I know that you've worked with Old Dominion for years. You've also worked with NDPC for years. Can you talk to us about what are some current research trends that you're seeing across the country?
Oh gosh, so we're definitely seeing artificial intelligence become a focus of research and discussions on policy and practice. So you have to have that research behind it so that it will influence the policy and practice, especially with the emergence of Chat GPT in
Mhm.
the past few months. It's really taken a priority position in education, really from the early grades all the way through college and graduate school. Other trends focus on serving students who've experienced trauma
Mhm.
and or who have mental health needs.
Okay.
School safety is always a topic of interest, and we're seeing a lot of emphasis on strategies to help recover losses that occurred during the COVID pandemic. Tutoring is a good example of that.
Definitely.
And then, of course, diversity, equity, and inclusion
Uh,
are big focal areas right now.
Oh, definitely. Hey, thank you so much for those trends. As a matter of fact, when you said, artificial intelligence on yesterday, I was on a call with a couple professors from the University of Minnesota, and we were really kind of discussing Chat GPT, right? I mean, like 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, if you said the words Chat
Yeah.
GPT, people would be like, what's that? And I think within, David said yesterday, there's 100 million users on Chat GPT within the last couple of weeks. Just think through that, 100 million users in a few weeks, understanding that in the next couple of months, Chat GPT will feel like the iPhone 1 and we're at iPhone 13, right? So it's almost like this artificial intelligence is changing at the speed of light. And then the research, I appreciate you bringing that up, Shannon, because how do now we begin to give children the skills and tools necessary to use this as a tool that was once a calculator? Think
Yeah.
about, in the 80s, how people were just like, we're not using calculators. And now how calculators benefit students. We've got to look the same way at artificial intelligences. All right. My last question for you, Shannon, is,
Sure.
you know, the research fellows, you talked about the value of research fellows. You talked about, the current trends. If I'm a superintendent, if I'm a principal, how would having a research fellow truly benefit my organization?
So the research fellows are selected for their demonstrated expertise in their respective areas of study. They've all shown commitment to advancing the work of the National Dropout Prevention Center. And so partnering with the research fellow allows schools access to content area experts, not only in dropout prevention, but in literacy, workforce development, youth engagement, and the importance of youth voice, early childhood education, and then, of course, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which I mentioned.
Mhm. Definitely. I just want to say this, Shannon, thank you so much for just really speaking to the value of the research fellows at NDPC and the value of true research with districts as we're continuing to just, as we're continuing to go through whether we call them challenges or opportunities in our districts. And again, folks, it is so good to be back online with you, the NDPC family. Don't forget, October 15th through 18th in Orlando, 33rd annual National Dropout Prevention Center Conference. We want to see you there. As a matter of fact, it's going to be another family reunion. We're going to have folks from all across the country coming together, really sharing these strategies around AI, sharing these strategies around trauma, sharing these strategies around these effective strategies, our effective strategies at NDPC. And we're going to be highlighting some of the most cutting edge practices from across the country. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. Again, Shannon, thank you so much for just being a part of our time today. And if you have any questions, you want to get connected to articles, you want to get connected to resources, hey, you see that link there at the bottom. Please click on that link. We want to make sure that we're connecting you. Click on that URL. We want to make sure that we're connecting you to some of the top articles, some of the top research, and some of the best practices from across the country. Have a great day, and we'll see you in October.